Okay, so this is a long due video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sakshi and I currently live and work in the UK. Please subscribe to my channel because I've got a lot of content planned for you guys. For those of you in India wanting to come to the UK for masters or an MBA, I've got a lot of study abroad content planned for you guys, and this video is one of those. And for those of you already in the UK, I've got a lot of job hunt and related content, so stay tuned. So in this video, we are talking about all things accommodation. So if you've just received your university offer letter in the UK, first of all, congratulations. But listen, your very first priority now should be booking an accommodation. Not flights, not shopping, not packing, but accommodation. Rooms in the UK get sold out really fast. So अगर आप थोड़ा सा भी delay करोगे या फिर end moment book करोगे, you're usually left with either expensive rooms or leftover rooms or rooms in areas where you don't want to stay. So today let's talk about everything: student accommodations, private rentals, co-living, budget, commute, what to watch out for, literally a full guide. So let's start. So let's talk about student accommodations first. I've made some points here. So I'm just gonna place the laptop here. I'll keep referring to this so that मैं कोई point miss ना कर दूँ. When you've just moved to the UK, I think this is the easiest and the most comfortable option. When you live where majority of your batchmates are living, I think life becomes so much easier because you're literally partners in crime for everything. You meet people naturally, you settle faster, you find study groups without even trying, you end up going to college together. Even if your lecture timings are different, you'll always find someone to walk to college with. And trust me, these tiny moments make the first few months a little less lonely. I think one very important thing to check here is whether your university recommends anything. So most universities have tie-ups or recommended buildings on their website. For example, I went to Imperial and they had Griffin and White City listed on their website. Safe, close to campus, and lots of Imperial students. These options are usually vetted, reliable, and have past students living there. Now, if your uni doesn't recommend anything, then how do you find the right place? One option could be speaking to your alumni. Ask them where did they live, how was their experience. Join student WhatsApp groups and Discord chats. Ask the current students where they are staying. Look for patterns. If many people pick a certain building, it's for a reason. And don't underestimate the community aspect. In a student accommodation, you party together, cook together, eat together, study together. Student halls give you a built-in support system. It feels like a soft landing in a completely new country. Let's talk about location and commute, and please don't ignore this. Let's talk about distance first. People think living far is cheaper. Trust me, it's not. Transport in London is really expensive. If you live far just to save £60 in rent, you'll end up spending £120 extra on transport. And here's the thing, trains get delayed, strikes happen, sometimes the whole line shuts down. So here's my honest advice. Don't focus on staying right next to the campus either. Focus on whether the commute is easy and direct. Also try to live close to a station. Walking 2 minutes to the tube is very different from walking 12 minutes in the rain. Now just to give you a sense of the budget, I've got a list of verified student accommodations along with the prices for 2025. Chapter King's Cross starting £289 a week. IQ City Old Street starting £413 a week. Chapter Aldgate starting £269 a week. Canvas Family between £250 to £260 a week. Unite Students £180 to £350 a week depending on the city. Now these might not be the exact figures, you can always go to their website and check for more details. All these include Wi-Fi, electricity, heating, water, security, maintenance, and social spaces. That's why student halls look expensive, but they simplify your life a lot in the first year. Okay, so now let's talk about private flats because this is the other big category. They're usually better from second year onwards when you're settled and you know the city well. Yes, private flats give you bigger rooms, more privacy, your own kitchen, and the flexibility to choose who you want to stay with. And again, do not pick a flat just because it's right next to your college. I know it feels convenient, but it's not necessary. Sometimes the areas right next to the universities are overpriced. What matters is the commute easy? Is there a direct train? Is the station close to your house? And when you're finalizing your flat, please don't do it just by looking at pictures online. Never book a private flat without actually seeing it. Pictures lie, angles lie, brightness filters lie, so please go for viewings. And here I've got a list of websites that you can check out for private flats. I will also link them in the caption. So you can check out Spare Room, Rightmove, Zoopla, OpenRent, and Airbnb for temporary stay before finding a long-term flat. These are the things that you'll need to set up on your own. Wi-Fi, electricity, heating, council tax. If you're a student, then this one's exempt for you. Water and maintenance reports. It's kind of more responsibility, which is why it's better once you've, fully settled into the city and you're comfortable with everything around. So now let's talk about co-living. I've lived in a student accommodation in my first year. I'm now living in a private flat, and I've also lived in a co-living space for a couple of months. And I can tell you that this is the best middle option and one of my favorite concepts. It's basically a student accommodation but for working professionals. You get your own room with an attached washroom, but you share other things like kitchen, gym, lounges, co-working spaces. So why I think co-living is amazing. It's cleaner, newer buildings, great amenities, social events, there's no loneliness. Perfect if you're between 21 to 30. All bills are included in the rent just like student halls, and they've got flexible contracts. I've lived at Arc Canary Wharf for a couple of months and genuinely I loved it. People were all my age, there were events happening almost every day and they were actually fun. The facilities were great and it gave me the same student accommodation vibe but for working professionals. The reason why I chose to move out was space. The rooms were really compact and I felt that it was a little on the expensive side for that size of the room. It's a great option if you don't want to live alone, you want community, you want a clean and a safe space. You want flexibility without long leasing. I've also got a list of popular co-living spaces: Arc Co-living, The Collective, Folk Co-living, Uncle Co-living, Gravity Co-living, Together Co-living. Prices vary from £250 to £450 a week depending on the location and room type. Final thoughts, here's my honest take. So if you're moving to the UK for the first time, start with the student accommodation. You'll adjust faster, make friends easier and feel settled. And once you feel settled and comfortable, move to a private flat or choose a co-living space if you want community. Accommodation can change your entire experience here, so take your time, research properly and choose wisely. I hope this helped, and if you have any question, please drop them in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.